unless somebody had, I mean, certainly as far as the policy is concerned and major issues, I would keep the floor open for any other questions or comments. But I think John brings up a very good point, and that is that the PIC worked very long and hard on this, and I sat in on some of the meetings, listened to some of the comments, and every meeting you're getting written comments from very smart groups that have provided us with a lot of guidance. So we've made some changes, and some we haven't made. But I think we've got to keep the process open, keep it going. Yes, ma'am.
At the risk of the ire of the chair of the commission and the greater planning community, I'd like to go back to the waiver thing for just one moment.
Sure.
And offer what I hope is a concrete solution to that.
Excuse me, please use the microphone, sir.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
In the section that talks about waivers is in the visioning section. If that were moved to become more general language in 7.8, number 4 at the end, where it talks about the petitioner submitting what they have in place. If there were a statement there that in 4A, renumbered 5, that says then that they don't need to redo any of the things that have already been done, and you make a finding of compliance with the purpose and intent of the process and so on.
Good thought.
All right?
Tracy, you got that?
Yes. Thank you.
Anybody have a problem with that?
Could you just repeat that?
Sure. The idea is that taking the waiver provision out of the visioning section and moving it to, what did I say, 7.8, which is a part of the self-assessment process, and making it not a waiver of the visioning process, but if the petitioner feels that they have complied with the purpose and intent of any of the guidelines previously, then they need to tell us that and suggest that we offer them a waiver, and then there could be a finding of compliance or non-compliance by the office.
Make it clear that we can provide a waiver for any of the requirements.
Right.
Not just vision.
That sounds good.
Anybody else?
I supported Debbie's suggestion that in C under 7.4 that we eliminate the final clause that achieves South Planet.
Okay. I'm opposed to it, but if anybody else is in favor of it, we'll take a vote if you want.
I'm opposed.
Eliminate it?
It's for two reasons. I don't want to spend a lot of time. It's redundant because the initial clause speaks about consistency with the state development and redevelopment plan, which obviously, unequivocally, is to achieve sound planning. And it raises I think it supports the issue of Ms. Mann, which is compliance it remains intact. So it's a clear message. I have to apologize. I didn't participate in the PIC. I know this is an amazing document, and certainly don't want to go over every word, but I think it's a reasonable compromise to the first statement.
Well, let me see if I understand what Liz is suggesting. 7.1D is going to be left alone. 7.4, you're going to take the language out after the word plan in section C on the third line. Is that correct?
No, I thought policies. I thought you're taking out the.
Oh, okay, all right. That's
And
fine.
again, it's a redundancy, it's unnecessary, and it does water down.
Okay, then I have no problem with that. Okay. Anybody else? Any thoughts on that? So, are we all agreed on that? Okay.
No, I don't think I mean, is there?
Yeah, no, I have no
Now that I
problem.
understand what it is, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So we're altering 7.4, not 7.1.
Correct. The waiver provision we're moving based on Brent's suggestion to that other section. Anything else up here?
There was a grandfathering provision that got inserted in 7.3 at the end, yes? Just included?
Yes.
Were those the extent of the changes beyond what Tracy described?
Correct. As I understand it.
Mr. Chairman, do you want a motion and then have public comment, or how do you want to proceed?
Yes, that'd be fine. Thank you.
I would move the guidelines as amended.
Second.
I'm sorry, the rules.
Okay. We've got a motion to adopt the rules as amended. We have a second. Now, we're gonna accept public comment before the vote.
Absolutely.
Okay. Tracy, Danielle, thank you so
So this
much.
is just about the rules, or? you're-
Just about the rules. Don't go far.
You're missing public comment, right?
Yes. Just on the rules.
Let the recorder flex her fingers.
Yes. Do you need a break? Sure. We can give you at least a minute and a half. Okay. Anyone from the public? On the rules? Tim? Yeah, remember, please, we have a reporter presence, your name and your organization.
Not being a New Jersey native, I will speak slowly. My name is Tim Dillingham, Dillinghamham. I'm the executive director of the American Littoral Society, Littoral Society, which means of or pertaining to the shore. Very general comment. I sent the commission written comments. Some of my optimism has almost been undone this morning, but it's a little debate. But I do want to congratulate the staff and John and Peg and the committee and the commission. I think you've clearly worked very, very hard on this, and it shows responsiveness to the issues that you grappled with. Specifically on the rules, I do think that the conversation this morning about the compliance with state regulations underlies an unresolved policy debate, which I appreciate the governor's office. Their implication, at least, that the State Planning Commission is not here to rewrite state regulatory programs, and that the planning work that they promote ought to be based on and reflect those policies where they're designed to protect the environment in particular. I would also acknowledge Monique's point that there are bad state regulations out there, but I think it points out the Commission's further work to work directly with those agencies to amend them and to get to the source of the issue, not to create forums or processes in which it could be amended either in substance or in effect. Secondly, just on the changes, it's a little tough to keep up with changes that are being debated, but on the notice of changes from plan endorsement, my understanding was the way that language was written in that section, it was about ordinances or plans or amendments that were off the agenda, off the plan endorsement itself, that had not been envisioned in the PIA or anything. So if there was a zoning change that was made, that was inconsistent or not as a direct implementation approach to the endorsed plan, then that was what the notice was trying to deal with. And it seems to be, if you're approving a plan which is based on a contingent upon a whole set of different moving parts hanging together and being compliant with standards and guidelines that you're getting ready to adopt, you need to be noticed prior to anybody trying to vary from that, just because the implications, both on the ground and in terms of the application of benefits. So the notice needs to be prior to the change, and I wasn't sure whether or not the
That
conversation
wasn't incorporated.
Okay, great. I would just urge you not to grandfather. I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to speak to Ben's legal point, but every time the State Planning Commission has tried to bring a new generation of planning efforts forward, and they've left the old stuff in place, it's just simply complicated and created problems. When you start talking about, Ben kept throwing in, you're only complying with the initial plan endorsement. Well, there's a whole set of guidance out there. If you don't close the work cleanly, then I think you're, at the very least, going to promulgate debate and not progress moving forward. And then lastly, the idea of waivers, I think you need to clarify that. You have elements in here that you're saying are required, or is the commission now saying we can waive required elements or optional elements? And I appreciate, as Highlands Council member sat on that committee and had a very good conversation with Ben about the MOU, your sensitivity to the issues that we raised. But I think whenever you establish a waiver process, there has to be standards under which that will be